Sorry about this. The house is a little discombobulated today, but we are in season 2, disc 3, I think. And we've got non sequitur, twisted, partition, and persistence of vision. And we're on vision today. We do recaps every single Friday. I hope you tune in every single Friday. We did Star Trek Next Generation for several years, so please go check those out. Especially the ones that give where my sound is just totally gone. But anyways, hey, welcome to the Dealer's Book Series, where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, nothing fancy going on here. No fancy editing, no fancy nothing. With just me talking books. And me trying to recap Star Trek Next Generation. Come here. Me trying to recap Star Trek Next Generation. Me trying to recap Star Trek Voyager. And of all the Star Treks, Deep Space Nine, all of them, Voyager is my favorite. I can't hold a tune and I can't sing, but I love Voyager's theme music, and if I could get away with playing it the whole video, I would, but obviously we can't. But my friend here's it's a little rainy day, and my house is all discombobulated, and she's not happy being here. So anyways, there is no captain's voiceover for this. I don't know what's up. We'll have to check it out together. There it is. There is no special effects here. Ah, shoot. Aw, man. So Neelix is trying to talk to the captain and she's on the hurry. He knows that they're headed to the Botha system, and he knows their space relatively well, and he would like to talk to Captain Janeway, or thinks that she needs to talk to him about this, how to treat the people, how stuff, what the laws are, how to associate with this group. And Janeway's like, all right, I'll get with you later. But she wants to do something else first. So she's in engineering, and she's talking to B'Elanna about setting up hollow emitters all over the ship so they can give the doctor more access to more areas of the ship. And then Mr. Kim comes in to help them too. Their first try at getting the doctor to engineering leaves him at about 6 inches tall. So then Tuvok asks for a half hour of her time, and it seems Janeway's a little stressed. So then the doctor says, can I have a moment with you? And he's saying that he feels that she's stressed. He feels that she hasn't spent time on herself, and he advises her to give herself a few minutes pleasure for herself. And he says, I've checked Starfleet regulations. The chief medical officer outranks the captain in health matters. Now, I realize this may be the first time a hologram has given an order to a captain, but I'm ordering you to report to the holodeck right now, right this second. And she's like, okay, I'm going. And then she goes to the holodeck with where she's the governess having the affair with the English lord, and those two evil children that she's got to deal with. Whatever. The two children come running into the room, interrupting the romantic moment, and the housekeeper is like, yes! They did something I told them to do to disrupt the Lord with this intruder lady who's intruding on my space. And everybody's sitting down to tea with their cucumber sandwiches. I never was particularly fond of cucumber sandwiches, and I would never consider myself in the class of people that would sit down to tea and cucumber sandwiches. Nope, nope. With the ham and cheese, peanut butter and jelly group. They have some more conversation, and she's trying to encourage the children to interact with her, ask them to play the piano, stuff like that. And the little girl drops her teacup and it breaks in all pieces. What can you do? So she returns to the bridge, and Neelix says, Captain, I knew we should have talked this morning. Tell me what you know, Neelix. I've been in subspace contact with some old friends of mine, nomads, collectors, much as I used to be. They're in a position to gather information during their travels. What they've told me doesn't sound good. In what way? There are a lot of rumors about ships entering Boston space, never to be heard from again. My sources on Mithrin say that they have lost a number of vessels. They say the Botha protect their territory fiercely. But we aren't aggressors, Janeway says. I don't think they are either. They just don't want anyone crossing their borders. Will they negotiate? Will they respond to diplomacy? It's hard to say. There's some belief that they don't even have a legitimate claim to the space, that they're nothing more than a pernicious, odious vandals in case diplomacy would fall on deaf ears. So then they get contact with the Bothians. Why have you entered our space without permission? We didn't realize this was your space. On what basis do you claim it? I have no intention of explaining myself to you. The fact is you're violating our territory. I assure you we mean no disrespect. We are from another part of the galaxy. We're just trying to go home. We'll send a ship to rendezvous with me. If you meet the criteria, we'll consider your request. What are your criteria? And he just cuts her off. Harris says, friendly fellow. And Janeway says, at least they're willing to talk. I wonder why he wouldn't let us see his face. I suspect it's a calculated move, Janeway says, attempt to intimidate us. Commander, you of the bridge. Aye, Captain. Mr. Neelix, join me in the ready room. We should talk about this meeting. Captain, may I ask, when was the last time you ate? I had some soup last night. Then let me suggest we conduct our meeting in the mess hall. Time for lunch. Looks like it's a buffet of something in the holodeck. But then something strange happens. Just minute strange. But it's one of those itty bitty little Easter egg hinties about some stuff. Just an itty bitty hinty. Cucumber sandwiches. Something I saw on the holodeck. This looks delicious, and it's bound to boost my electrolyte levels. Where did you get that cup? He has a teacup. Why, I'm not sure. I found several of those in storage. Unusual, isn't it? It's perfectly news. I need to remind myself that coincidences do happen. It's a little hinty. It's a little hinty. So, the cucumber sandwiches, the teacup, and now she just walked by a member of her crew who looked like the Lord that she was dealing with on the holodeck. I'm beginning to think that because they're messing with the holodeck and the doctor's programming, that the holodeck is influencing the rest of the ship. Just little bitty ways. It's interesting. Then she finds the little girl walking the hallways of her ship. So then Janeway's talking to them. In the course of your experiments with the doctor, have you accessed any of the hollow programs? No, we're bypassing the hollow programs. Where did you get the projector? We found several of them in storage. We've been reconfiguring them one by one. So you haven't worked directly with any of the projectors on the holodecks? No. Is there anything you've done, anything you could think of that might have caused the hollow objects and characters to appear outside the holodeck? Not that I'm aware of, B'Elanna says. I was sure your experiments would explain it. Captain, there has to be a reason why you've had these delusions, and we're going to figure it out. The doctor pointed out that I've been under stress. I can't ignore that. I think we should check out the imaging systems on the holodeck. There might be a simple malfunction. Good idea. We can run the diagnostics from here in engineering, but you should activate the program first. I'll contact you from the holodeck. So then Janeway's on the holodeck talking to them. Have you set up the diagnostic? We're ready, Captain. Go ahead. And the holodeck starts running. And Lord Burleigh comes out and sees her in her uniform, not her usual clothing. Then Janeway is back in the mess hall with Neelix. And he's having her try all these different and she's asking about the cucumber sandwiches. And he says he doesn't even know what it was. The other item on the menu is fried myrrh cake. You ate one. And the cup you served in my tea? One of these I found in storage. And it was a black mug. So she's wondering if she's imagining things. So then she goes to see the doctor. And he says, I don't detect anything so far. No evidence of aneurysm, subhematoma, or stroke. Could it be stress? Possibly. Did you go to the holodeck as I ordered? Yes. And was that relaxing? It was interesting. I'm not sure how relaxing it was. There are other possibilities we should consider. I want to scan for a virus or bacteria. And while the doctor is doing all this stuff, something attacks Kes. I suddenly felt cold, shivery. Someone was walking on your grave, huh? It's just an old Earth expression, a way of describing an odd feeling like that. How McBray. It's a human expression, Doctor. I think you'd heard it. My program didn't clutter me with pithy Earth trivia. They programmed me with far more important data. Kes, would you please get my subneural scanner from the med lab? Yes, Doctor. Beatrice, what about my mother's grave? There's no one inside. The coffin is empty. And Beatrice from the hologram shows up, and the doctor doesn't see her. Only Janeway sees her. Cass sees her, though. I felt as though something hit me, bounced off me. Then I saw the little girl moving right into you. As though you became a mirror, you reflected her back toward me. I've been doing some mental exercises with Tuvok, developing my telepathy abilities, but we haven't done anything like this. Captain, I'm unable to determine the cause of these hallucinations. I prefer you return to your quarters. Get some rest. But the fact that Kes saw it, doesn't that help a little bit? So then Janeway gets herself a bowl of ice cream, and then there's a surprise in her room. Then she's hearing Mark's voice, her boyfriend from Earth, and she says like, "Oh, it's nothing." Goes back down again. Hear his voice again. So gets up, turns on all the lights. There's nothing there. Then she hears the doorbell, so she goes to answer the door, and the housekeeper's there with a knife. So then Cass says she can see the woman with the knife with Janeway, but nobody else can see the woman with the knife. And they have transported her to sick bay. And Chakotay says, "I know he's been doing research. I'll check with him. You probably want him on the bridge when with you when their ship arrives. Good idea. I'm not sure how Torres and Kim are coming. You know they're trying to find a way to transfer the doctor out of sickbay. Yes. It's not a priority, but you might want to try and stay on top of it. Of course. Let's see. There's a problem with one of the deflector shields. You'll want to follow up on that. And the stellar cartography was hoping for a review of the latest report. I think Tuvok wanted to discuss something about weapons storage. Captain, you've trained our crew well. We'll be able to do without you for a few days. In the meantime, we'll continue to diagnose all ship systems." So the doctor says his patient needs some rest now. Here's Janeway giving Chakotay all those orders I just talked about. He's like, "Captain, you've trained your crew well. We'll be able to do without you for a few days. In the meantime, we'll continue diagnostic on all ship systems. There's a reason that something's happened to you. We want to discover what it is." Then Cass tells her that she also saw the woman with the knife. So Tuvok says, "I'm picking up a ship on long-range sensors, Commander. It's design we have not encountered before." Kim says, "I show a direct intercept course. That must be a welcoming party," Chakotay says. "They're in a hurry, too, closing fast." Tuvok says they are hailing Commander on screen. So the people come and they hail them and they want to speak to Janeway, and Chakotay is trying to explain that he is first officer and that he can speak for her, and they don't like it too much. And they're asking about their weapon systems, and Chakotay says, "I don't think you need that information." And the guy says, "How do we know you're not heavily armed?" And he goes, "I don't know how to convince you. We're a peaceful people if you doubt us." And the image disappears. Chakotay says, "What happened?" Tuvok says, "I terminated the transmission, Commander, and made it look like an accidental interruption. I'm concerned about some anomaly sensor readings. I'm getting them too. Residual energy displacements, two discrete readings, one off the port bow, one off the starboard. We have to consider the possibility of cloaked ships. Reverse course, Mr. Paris. Aye. Two ships decloaking. The Bothan ships is powering up weapons. Evasive maneuvers, Gamma 5. And they start exchanging fire." And then Janeway understands they're taking fire, and Janeway says, "I can't stay in sick bay." Kim says, "There's something weird going on, Commander. I'm not reading any life signs on the two ships that just decloaked. There's no crew. Looks like they're automated. They're being controlled by the Bothman ship. Return fire, Tuvok. We've hit their weapons array, but not severely enough to disable them. Commander, the three ships are maneuvering around us. Get us out of here, Paris." "I'm trying. The ships are powering their weapons, preparing to fire. That last volley took our shields down to 21%. We've got damage on all decks, reports of injuries. I'll stop. The lead ship is hailing us, Commander. Your ship is damaged and your captain incapacitated. I will accept your immediate surrender." "We're not getting one. The captain is fine." Janeway comes on bridge. So when the guy on the other ship stands up and walks to the mirror screen, she sees Mark, the guy she loves. And then Janeway says, "Mr. Paris, who do you see?" And Paris says, "My father." And Kim says he sees his girlfriend. And Janeway says, "Shut down the visual." And Kim says he's trying, but it won't terminate. Mr. Tuvok, do a multi-phasic scan on the ships. I want every evidence of defense weakness and prepare the forward photon torpedoes for the launch. I don't understand how this can be. Don't try to understand, Tuvok. Just accept it. We're together again. No, you are not my wife. Of course I am. I am T'Pel, right here in front of you, in your lute, the one you play to. Tuvok, answer me. I'll still do it. Running a multi-phasic scan. Taurus to Captain. Janeway here. We're having problems down here. People are becoming delusional. It's happening here too. I don't know why. There's a massive energy field coming from those ships. It's bioelectric, modulating on a delta wave frequency. It has a piezotronic properties and it's permeating the hell. Piezotronic field has a psychoactive effect. That would explain the hallucinations. So she's going to try remodulating the shields, but in the meantime, I'm going to set up a resonance burst from the warp core. That will probably block the field, but it still take a while. Notify the doctor if the field is bioelectric. He might have some ideas how to neutralize it. Commander, give Lieutenant Torres a hand in engineering. Mr. Neelix, if the crew need a morale officer, it's now. And then Chakotay comes to B'Elanna, and he's trying to talk her into using an escape pod. And he's trying to get all romantic with her, and she's beginning to realize that he isn't the Chakotay she knows. So Janeway and Paris are the last two survivors. And I'm getting results from the scans. No apparent defensive weakness. Metallurgic analysis is inconclusive. I can't remodulate the shields. Try moving us out of here. If we can't get some distance between us and the ships, we might be able to block the effects. Yes, ma'am. And then Paris's father appears on screen. So she goes in the turbolift to go down to engineering, and Mark is there trying to woo her and talk to her and play the guilt card. So then the doctor is all by himself. He's trying to contact people, and it's him and Cass are just fine, but the rest of the world is been hallucinating. So then Cass goes to find Janeway, and she discovers Tom with stuff on his face. And they have a little moment. So then she goes back to sickbay, and she says, we have to set up the resonance burst as quickly as possible. I've started hallucinating. Then I see Lieutenant Program is active. I think I'll have it. B'Elanna was writing a program to open a symmetrical warp field. All right. You'll have to sequence the magnoplasma constriction to follow T equals C sub over theta P subject. How do I do that? I'm not sure. Wait a minute. Let's see if I can access Starflake's interface. And then Neelix comes in. And then he says, in the missile, trying to help the poor souls. Why didn't you enter the doctor's house? I didn't hear them. The comms must be down. And frankly, I was a little busy. Ashmore thought I was a Kazon, tried to kill me with a carving knife. How do I know you're really Neelix? Who else would I be? All I want to do is protect you, to keep you safe. We have to get away from here, get to my shuttle. Doctor, have you figured out that sequencing code? It's quite simple, really. Do you know where the command module is? Yes. Activate it and select magnoplasma sequencing. You're becoming annoying, Neelix says. I've got it activated. Now it's asking me to enter the core temperature. Move away from the console. The doctor comes. We need a temperature high enough to emit the resonance burst, but not so high as to irradiate everyone on the ship. Try 3 million kevons. And Kess and Neelix go at it. You know, the pushy, shovey type situation. Alright, Tess does it, and everybody comes back to themselves. And they discover the guy on their ship, and he's the one that's been responsible for all the stuff. And then they have a talk with him. So Janeway says, "Why did you do this to us?" "Because I can." "Is it just telepathy or is there technology involved? Does it matter?" "Oh, it matters to me because I don't intend to let you continue preying on others. How do you pose to stop me? We could destroy your technology or adjust your brainwave patterns to prevent telepathy. And then we could turn you over to the government of the Methrin. We could even keep you confined in our brig with a force field. I'm sure you're very well intentioned, Captain, and I'd like to be able to accommodate you. But you see, I'm not really here." And he disappears and the ships disappear. So then we get a captain's voiceover. "Capital log supplemental. We have no explanation for the mysterious disappearance of the telepathic alien. We can't even be certain he was actually here. He seems to have left us with a number of unanswered questions." And then Taurus comes into the mess hall and finds Janeway sitting here. And she says, "What are you doing here? Isn't this your day on the holodeck?" Um, I thought after our recent experience that I'd take a break from the fantasy for a while. I don't blame you. I think it had quite an impact on all of us. Do you think it's true that the alien was reading our minds, creating images from our own experiences? It seems that way. He had an uncanny ability to bring buried thoughts out into the open. Why? Oh, it's just something I experienced I'd rather not admit. I know, me too, but in a way, maybe he did us all a favor. Maybe it's better to look those feelings in the eye than to keep them locked inside. I guess I'll have to think about it. I have an early watch tomorrow, so I'll say goodnight." Good night. And that's the end of the episode. Wrong button. So that's the end of Resistance. And that's the end of the disc. We'll have to go on to the next disc next week. So please stay tuned for next week's recap. And I hope you have a good Friday. Have a good one.